All right, welcome to the Tech and Tortillas Texas Tech TCU preview. It's week 10, and we've got what amounts to a loser leaves town game, what many might call it. Loser of this game probably is going to have a tough time making a bowl game. Tech would obviously have to go undefeated, and TCU's got a tough remaining schedule and can only drop one more after if they lose. So with that, I'm joined by Nick, who's replacing Anthony this week. Nick, what do you think about the game?
Thanks for having me on, Dallas. Pretty excited to be here. I know it's gonna be a little different without Anthony this week, but I think I'll try to do my best. You said it, man. Loser leaves town for sure. We were talking a little bit earlier in the day, and as much as we went into this season feeling like, man, Tech's gonna be favored in, majority of these games. As this season's progressed, it just obviously doesn't feel that way anymore. And I got to be honest, as much as I like to put on a good face and say we're going to do this, I am nervous about this game. I haven't felt good about playing TCU for a few years now, and I was hoping this was the year that would change. We'll see. Ask me on Wednesday before the game, the day before the game, and I'll tell you we're ready. We're going to win. But right now, I am a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this will be the first week that basically since like the second half of West Virginia that we get to see what this offense can actually do. Maybe not even then because it was raining. And for the first time since then, you have a healthy Baron Morton. And bye week came. It sounded like we're going to get a lot of guys back outside of Cole Spencer. And we'll see about Jaden York and that whole Spitgate thing, but I won't get into that. See if he's playing. But yeah, this is a team, two teams that are very similar to each other, man. Tech has beaten up on two of the lower in Big 12 teams in Baylor and Houston, and TCU's kind of done the same thing in BYU and Houston. I know BYU.
Poor Houston.
Yeah, poor Houston.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Top to bottom, teams are very similar. I think we're going to see Josh Hoover, their backup quarterback. So it'll be two second stringers going at it. I do think Morton's the better guy in that situation.
Can I just to throw this out there? I know. Morton's our second string quarterback, and Tyler was showing things before the season started. But do you feel like Morton's was potentially first string material? I mean, like I when Morton plays and he's healthy, I feel like he, I know we call him second string. I feel weird calling him second string sometimes because, I feel like he was right there close to being the guy.
Yeah, it's so hard to say because we've basically seen two healthy halves of Baron Morton in his entire career. The first half against, well, I guess you could say second half of Tarleton, he was healthy. But against like actual FBS opponents, the first half against Oklahoma State last year, where he looked phenomenal. He looked like, a future NFL prospect. And then the first half against West Virginia, where, he got dinged up actually kind of early in that game after Shuck got hurt. So I don't know if we really know what he is yet. I think he's definitely shown a higher ceiling than Shuck. And so far he's been less turnover prone. So that I know that was one of the big things is, Shuck, why Shuck was the starting quarterback because they thought he'd make less mistakes. But so far, Morton's taking care of the ball better. And, that could just be taking less shots because of his shoulder or something. But, yeah, I was definitely ready to see Morton when he came in. Obviously you don't want to see how it happened, but I think he definitely has the higher ceiling and more potential to carry this team. So, yeah.
I was just curious. You're not the only person I've heard say that, but I feel like at this point he just feels like the starter. But you know what? When you never play with a starter over the past couple of years, it's just nice to have someone. It's just nice to have someone who's not a wide receiver get trotted out there. So.
Yeah, and I think part of that also is like once Shuck went down, like the keys were his. Like he's got 2 more years after this to play, so it really felt like, okay, like he's our starter. He's going to be our starter.
Right.
You're at like you kind of move on, as tough as it is to say, but
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm coming from. Like when I hear the other, like this guy, who, for TCU, right? Like he's their backup, right?
Yeah,
But like you said, I think you put it perfectly. We're moving on, like, moving forward. Barron's our guy, um, for the foreseeable future, right? So I think that's why, like in my head, I just need to fix my brain on that. But
yeah.
all right, sorry, man, didn't mean to get you sidetracked. Just
No,
interested
no.
in your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good way to put it. Like I said before, these teams are very similar. I think TCU has a little better offense, and Tech might have the slightly better defense. TCU's offense has struggled through the air, especially last game against Kansas State, which Tech did as well. But they're going to lean on the running back to kind of get them going, as well as us. Bailey is a top 3 guy, along with Brooks at Texas. So yeah, they're not going to use as much volume in the run game as Tech probably will, but he's a big yards per carry guy, and they're going to maybe lean on him more if they get a big lead, especially with Hoover struggling the last game. So we'll see how that game plan works for them. Their defense is slightly worse. They're 67th in yards per pass and 70th in yards per run, which are both worse than Tech. So I think this defense can definitely be got, especially at home, where Tech's obviously performed a lot better than on the road. We'll see what the crowd's like too, because this is going to be the first non-sold-out home game of the year. So hopefully the student section shows up and can get rowdy.
Yeah, that's so, and this too. Our times at Tech, kind of, we were there at the same time for a little bit, and it always felt like the first sign of danger or issues with Tech, the student section would run in bolt. What I'll say about this year and a little bit towards the end of last year is that it feels like the games are more of a is the thing to do, which is a nice feeling. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's an emotional statement. I don't have the necessary. Well, we have sold out games, but don't have all the data to support that. But in the past, right, you watch an SEC game, you watch Alabama, any of those type schools, and that's what people go do, right? That's their Saturday. What I can tell you is this year, even though it hasn't gone our way, I'm pretty proud of these turnouts that we've seen. It feels more like, hey, it's Saturday. We're going to go cheer on our guys. So
yeah,
let's keep that up, right? We need it, because this is a showing for next year too, right? When the chips get down, what do we do? Hopefully, we keep showing up, because that's going to show everyone, coming in next year, hey, they mean business. So I think we'll be good there. I think the students get that, and I think obviously the good people of Lubbock get that. What I'll tell you about the game, Dallas, most of all, what I'm looking for, stats aside, we need to see the offense really turn it up here. You alluded to it earlier. We've got a pretty healthy team going into this game. The bye week helped us out a lot. Barron should be healthy, right? We're seeing that he's been practicing throwing the ball. We get our tight ends back as well. Is that correct?
yeah. I believe Tharp and Cup should be good to go in this game.
Right, and both of them have shown. I mean, they've shown a lot of promise.
Yeah,
You had Baylor versus Baylor crime, right? We had that. Um, so and then Tharp's just giant target, and he had some good early season games. So uh, I'm excited to see what they can do. And then again, a healthy Barron, and we saw when everyone's healthy, we can get the offense turning. But
yeah,
the issue is, it seems like once one thing goes wrong or once someone gets hurt, we change it up, and then the offense just sputters. I was thinking about this the other day. We used to score 50 points and lose, but now we're not scoring 50 points and losing. And I don't know which one I felt better about, because at least when we scored 50 points, it was fun.
yeah,
So now what I neglect to tell you is the heartbreak I would feel where if we didn't score on one drive, it was like, okay, this game's over.
yeah.
However, up until that point, it was electric. So So it's weird seeing an offense that sometimes you feel like, oh, well, we're just going to hopefully we score. If not, we're just, I mean, we're going to punt it. Okay. It's just a different feeling. But, we'll see. We'll see, man. With a healthy team, we've seen that this offense can move. We just need Kitley to really focus and get the right play calls. At the end of the day, they're high school, or they're 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids. So we do need him to take some type of control. I know he likes the quarterbacks to be able to make their decisions, and that's great. But let's make sure that we're making the right decisions, and let's give them the right guidance, because we got to see the run plays. And we saw it when we played Houston, right? The running game opened up the passing game. So I just want to see that this week. And if we don't see it this week, I have serious concerns about Kitley moving forward.
Yeah, I think most important is just take care of the freaking football. We haven't done it all year. We're now third worst in the FBS in turnover margin. That's even much better. They're in the bottom 100. So I think that's probably what the game comes down to, is who makes the least amount of mistakes. Because, I mean, we just haven't been able to get out of our own way on offense. And then the defense hasn't created hardly any turnovers the last few games as well.
Yeah, it feels like it's the give three instead of the take three. So, and I love Joey. I love Coach McGuire. But, I know the mantra's take three, and it feels like we're giving three. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if you have the statistics on this, but when Barron is starting, we've seen the turnovers go down, though, right? I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, I don't want to say it's skewed because we are turning the ball over too much. But when you start Jake Strong, who's throwing 3 interceptions a game, like, that's gonna happen, right?
He had 8 turnovers if you put the fumbles on him
right.
So that's definitely going to skew things.
Right. So, and now again, we've been turnover prone because it was happening at the beginning of the season too.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's say instead of 8, let's call it 3 turnovers. You got to think we at least jump up that list a little bit. So again, with a healthy team and Barron at the reins, I got to think that we will see less of that.
Yeah, well, that's why I think this game is going to be, it's going to say a lot about what the team really is. I mean, obviously, like all the preseason hype and stuff, we're finally getting healthy. You finally get your star linebacker back with Jacob Rodriguez. Can he help the run game, defense? There won't, unless there's injuries in the game, there's no excuses after this for how we play.
Right.
Have almost 2 full weeks of practice, being able to throw, get some rhythm down with the wide receivers. And I know there's been like a lot of criticism on the wide receivers, and to be fair, I mean, they've had a really hard situation themselves going between
3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get in a rhythm with that. And then even when Barron was playing, he wasn't practicing with him.
No, it's so funny, through this conversation just with you right now, I'm almost all the way bought back in. Like if we win this week, I'm going to be like, you know what? We were just unlucky this year. We were a couple bad, a couple injuries away from being, 10-1, 10-2, whatever it is. So this conversation,
this stretch, I will definitely be telling myself that in the offseason.
Oh yeah. Let's clarify something. This is not healthy, what we're doing right now.
Nobody ever said
but I ain't here to be healthy. All right. My wife makes me eat enough vegetables as it is. This is where I get the dirt. All right. This is where I get all the bad stuff. So give me more. I'm excited again. You got me all the way back in. I thought it was going to take till Wednesday. It's Sunday and I'm here. I'm ready for it.
This is a dangerous spot we're putting ourselves in now.
It's too late. So, and you already know that Pick'em Pod's coming out, and you already know I'm probably taking an alternate line. I'll tell you that, because I'm all the way bought in again. Thank you.
Well, we'll see how that goes. After this podcast, I'm gonna have to think about it, because just 20 minutes ago, I was thinking, how on earth are we gonna beat Kansas and then go to Texas and have any shot at a bowl game? But who knows?
And I'll tell you, and look, man, as long as the team stays healthy and after what we've said, I don't see how we don't. So here's what I'll say. All joking aside, if we have a very good showing versus TCU and let's say we win by 2 scores, I will feel very good. Sorry, let me phrase that. 2 scores with, let's call it, no injuries.
Yeah.
I'll feel good.
Asterisks on playing a Josh Hoover-led team, but I agree. The fan base, us, we're all going to get hyped back up.
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you, though. You say that, right? Backup quarterback. It's not like we've done very well against backup quarterbacks. Need I remind you about the kid from West Virginia,
or any Kansas State,
or any kid? Yeah, Kansas State. You know what scares me? You know the thing about Kansas State? Klein's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that man just ran all over us when he was there. So he's got Tech's number. So that scared me. He needs to get a head coaching job somewhere else.
I agree.
Yeah, because that's not good for us. He knows how to run all over us. So what else you got, Dallas? Any other insight on the game?
So another big thing is third downs. I mean, Tech it's been one of the storylines on if you win or lose, or at least competitive in games, is what you do on third downs. You were terrible the last 2 games on third and fourth down. And in the Kansas State game, you were awful on third down. TCU is one of the better teams offensively on third down. I think whoever can keep drives alive and just score points, like I mentioned, the turnover, both teams have had turnover issues. If you can just grind out long possessions and end drives with points, whether it's field goals or touchdowns, I think that's a huge part of the game.
I think we need, I agree. I think we need to be okay with field goals.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like duh, right? But I love going for it. Me, I'm Nicky Double Downs, right? I love to risk it. But I think sometimes it can be a little demoralizing when the defense goes out there again and it's what the heck, man. So especially when we're turning the ball over too. So we either turn the ball over and now we're out there very quickly, right? We just got off the field, now we're back on the field. Or B, we got a little bit of a break, but now we're getting back on the field with no points.
Yeah.
I mean, people call it bend don't break, right? But you can only, what are you supposed to do? You can only bend for so long, If we give up 24 points, we should win those games. And we're not right now. And that's what's kind of, we need to put points on the board.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Joey's going to have to take into account the mindset that this team has right now, the psychology of the team. There's no way they're not a little down, and they can't be feeling like ultra confident going into any game the way they've played recently. So I think it can be demoralizing on a team if you keep getting into the opponent's territory and turning it over on downs and coming away without points.
Yeah. Or not playing with a lead. I mean, even a 3-point lead, right? 3-0 feels a lot better than 0-0.
Yeah.
So
how aggressive he is. I mean, he's been like going for it on 4th and 5, 4th and 6 on that end of the field, which, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. It's worked out for the most part in his career, but I think at home you really need a win. You really need to instill some confidence in these guys. I think this is one where maybe you ignore the analytics a little more and focus on the mindset of the team and where they are in between their ears.
Play a little more old school football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the good thing, and I think I'm a huge Joe. That I'm a huge Joey fan. I had the opportunity to meet the guy once, and I mean, just amazed with his charisma. He saw me in a crowd of. I was going to the game after I met him. Saw me in a crowd of 40,000 people, 50,000 people walking the stadium, and Nick, it was great meeting you. So I'm a fan for life of this guy. He's doing the right thing. I think he trusts the defense. I think he's like, hey, look, I'm going to go for it. We're on their 40. If we don't get it, defense stands tall. So I get it. It's just how tall can the defense stand for so long without points? So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want him to change. He just needs to be aware. And I'm sure he is. He's smart. He's got a lot of smart people around him.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see it. I think he's aware of points, and we've seen he's been able to change. I mean, you have to be able to change when you have three different quarterbacks playing for you.
For sure, and I think obviously the last few wins that we've gotten, it's been all centered around how does Taj Brooks play. I think Cole Spencer being out the last few games has hurt them. Like the holes just haven't quite been there. He's been having to just work for more yardage than he even usually does. So I think that he's still got to get like 25 carries, I think, 25 carries. But if Morton's fully healthy, and some people might disagree with this, I wouldn't mind seeing him slinging around a little bit and maybe try to jump on them early in the game. You talk about like playing from a lead, getting in that right mindset. Maybe get a little aggressive. You got nothing to lose at this point in the season.
Yeah, I think again too, and yes, I am making excuses. When you know Jake Strong's the quarterback, nothing against Jake, but he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stack the box, let the kid throw the ball. Right.
Yeah.
So whether Cole was there or not, Taj is going to be seeing the brunt of the load. Right.
Yeah.
Then it works out for him to a point where now we're down by 14 points, 17 points. Now we have to throw the ball, and then they can take some pressure off the running game, which then leads to those interceptions that he's been throwing. Right. So we've been when you're that hampered at quarterback, you really you're starting from behind already. So I'm making excuses, and I hope every Texas Tech fan makes these excuses as well. The last game, I'm done with it. I don't even think you can really use that, just because we don't even have a kid starting who never had a chance really,
Yeah. That's definitely, especially on the offensive side, that's a game you just throw out the tape. Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
I just schemed the defense, and I think, I just nailed it. So give me college athletes against that, and I could have probably put together a game plan that maybe would have been successful.
Yeah, I think you put together a decent 6A team and maybe have some success against that.
Well, considering that's how old Jake is, it's not his fault. Kids literally just got out of high school, so.
Yeah. So, I think we covered it pretty much all. Hopefully we can have a recap pod next week talking about a Tech win. Everybody, make sure you like and subscribe the video. We're going to be coming out with a hoops preview. It should be out tomorrow on Monday when we're recording this, and I'll be going to the Texas A&M game here soon, so we'll have a post-game recap for that as well.
Have fun, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited.
When was the last time we played A&M in basketball? In conference, right?
In conference, yeah.
So 2011.
Yeah, and dude, they're going to be good this year. This will be a really good test. Curious to see who all we play, if they're going to roll out like starters for a lot of the game.
I hope we take it seriously.
Yeah, I think it will. The press conference last week, it sounded like, at least come the end of the game, they're going to have the starters in. They're going to try to win the game. So we'll get a real sense of what they are.
Yeah. Now this is just a scrimmage, right? Like it doesn't count as it's not on the record.
No. Yeah, it's just an exhibition game, but it's going to be run like a real game. It's not going to be like one of the secret scrimmages you hear about where they'll just do.
Maybe someone won a game. Yeah.
So
Well, we just had one of those with UTEP anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
there's much you can take from those, I think,
yeah,
because teams
we'll see.
expect a lot in those. So this will be a good sense of what we've got coming for basketball. But
It's for a
like,
good cause too, right? It's for the Hawaii
yeah,
Wildfires.
exactly.
Perfect. So good cause. Enjoy it, Dallas. Get some good information for us. That way, we'll get some good things to talk about for tomorrow's podcast. And hopefully, this leads to maybe some actual scheduled games versus A&M. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, I think so. I mean, if you can get them or Texas on the schedule every other year in the non-con, I think everybody in the state would have a good time with that.
Well, what'd be funny, and this is just now. This is wishful thinking, and I'll leave. I'll shut up after this. Uh, could you imagine Texas leaves? Obviously, right? Goes to the SEC, and then us and A&M just start playing each other every year.
That would be honestly, I'd rather do that than play Tech. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm done with UT. I'm tired of them. It's time to reignite the A&M Tech thing. That's a little more fun.
Always the more lively rivalry.
Yeah,
So
my freshman year was the last year A&M was in the conference, so like that was a crazy game in Lubbock. Bummer that we haven't had one in so long, but that would be nice. All right, man. Well, thanks for having me on as a guest. I know Anthony's busy, so I appreciate giving me a shout.
absolutely, man. We'll have you on anytime.
All right, brother. Hey, like Dallas said, guys, subscribe, like the podcasts. Check out our other podcasts. We got the gambling pod, rolling in dough, and then we got the Don't Be Scared pod as well. So like and subscribe to all of it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.